Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So you've had some fun dumping some mags through your Canik Elite subcompact pistol, the Canik SC, or any of the Elite series really. So now it's time to get her nice and cleaned up. So let's take her to the table and show you guys how you're going to clean your Canik Elite SC. So before we get into cleaning, we need to talk about what you'll need to get this job done. A lot of the stuff you can get right on Amazon. I'll put links down below for you. Going kind of left to right here, you'll need some kind of soft nylon brush. This really helps kind of get into some of the crevices on the slide and the frame. Toothbrush works just fine. It's just something cheap. You can either reuse them by cleaning them off or just kind of throw them away as you go. Very nice to have. You'll need a 9mm bore brush like this right here. This one's brass, or you can also use a nylon, and they have a little spiral there to kind of go with the grooves as you pull through to kind of clean out all the rifling inside the barrel. You need a patch pull through that works with your cleaning rod that actually lets you pull patches through to help get a nice clean on the inside of the barrel. And here is the cleaning rod. They make different kinds. This one actually spins, as you can see, so that is kind of really nice to have to kind of clean the rifling out a little bit better. This is actually a specific pistol one, but again, they make kinds that take apart. You can kind of build them up to make them work with rifles as well. This right here is a Tipton polymer pick. It's plastic, but it's designed specifically for getting into real tight spaces like you're behind your extractor. This works really well to get a patch behind there and clean up some of the hard to reach places. These are very nice to have. You'll need a good all-in-one oil or a gun cleaner, whatever you prefer. I really like CLP Break Free. It's worked for years for me. No issues at all. You can buy them in these little sampler bottles, or you can get a large bulk bottle, which I tend to use, and then you can go ahead and put them in this like a little cheap squirt bottle like that. For cleaning patches itself, you need some kind of cotton patches like this. Little 2-inch 9mm work really well. Also, you can cut up t-shirts or get the bigger square ones. Just know you might need to cut it up just the right size, because you need to almost like cut these in half to make sure they fit down the barrel when you're cleaning it. And you may also want to make sure you wear gloves as well. This stuff isn't super crazy with the chemical side, but it's chemicals touching your skin. And as you know, if you've ever cleaned anything before, that stuff stays on your skin for a day or two. So it's just good to have some gloves. It might help out. So, and of course you need your Canik. Now this of course works for the subcompact, the SC, or any of the Elite series. So let's get to cleaning. Also, it's great to have a tech mat like this Beretta 92FS tech mat right here. These work really well. I've had them for years, and they work to help prevent any of the oils or the grime that you're cleaning out of the handgun from penetrating and hurting any of the surfaces you're on. If you don't care about your surfaces, it's fine. These actually help with making sure none of the parts roll around as well. So it's kind of cool. I always have one of these tech mats when I'm cleaning my firearms. But first thing first, drop your mag, make sure she's empty, check the chamber, check it again. Make sure there's no issues at all. Nothing is in there. All right, and all you have to do with the Canik series is you do need to, of course, like I said, check it, because you need to pull the trigger. Then you pull these tabs. Slide goes forward about 1 inch, and then it comes off the top like so, okay? And then all you got to do now is take the spring and guide rod assembly like that. Take the barrel out, and you are assembled enough for cleaning. All right, so very first thing I do is actually go with the slide. So I'll put these to the side right now. Now the slide is obviously super dirty. I just did a full review on this particular handgun, and it has not been cleaned in over 500 rounds, so it is time for a good cleaning. So what I do is I take my little squirt bottle, and with the firing pin channel facing downward, the firing pin's right in there, I'm gonna go ahead and just squirt a little bit. This is nice because it has a nice mist to it. All right, then I take my little brush. I'm just going to brush again downward. You don't want to get anything stuck in that firing pin channel. You can clean it out. These are very easy to take this backing off and take the firing pin out, but it's not something you have to do every time, and typically you won't ever have to do it. Go ahead and use the brush just to break up any kind of the carbon that's kind of built up. You can see that it's getting all black already. This is going to help just break it up, spread the oil around. Let's get behind that extractor a little bit. You can get the face of where that firing pin is if you'd like, as long as it's facing downward. Alright, so now that's all blackened up, go ahead, either take one of your small patches, one of your big ones, it doesn't really matter. I got some of the big ones lying around. Start wiping her down a little bit. Just hand wipe for now. It's really not that bad actually. Seems to be picking up all the grime and carbon pretty easily. Caniks are great guns. I mean, I've had them for years now. They were a big deal just like 5-6 years ago, whatever it was, when they first hit the market, because they were a good budget option with the old TP9 series, and they still are great little handguns. Built very well. I mean, look at just how it's built. There's like minimal, there's like no tool marks on there. I mean, it is just really, really nicely built. This is where you can actually get your picks in there. So see some of the square parts down here you can't normally get to with your fingers. If you want to get a nice deep clean, just get in there, stuff a patch in, clean it up. Same with the rails, you'll see all on the sides where your frame sits in. Real easy just to kind of run a patch through. If you'd like, and it's getting kind of dry, go ahead, get a little bit more oil on there. Clean the rails up nice like that. Now there's an extractor that's right there. So again, kind of on a downward angle here. And get a fresh spot, see if I can get this cleaned up really good. There you go, it's right there. Get this side here. It's good to get the extractor clean, because a lot of times that's going to cause a malfunction. If it's dirty, you can see how dirty it is right there. And again, I can wipe that face off a little bit. Now, depending on how often you do clean your firearms, this one was new, and then I shot over 500 rounds through her for the review. You know, depending on how often you clean it, will depend on how reliable it is, but also how hard it is to clean, how many patches you go through. I mean, typically you're going to go through a dozen, maybe 2 dozen patches to clean a firearm. You don't really need to get it to be pristine. You just want to make sure the internals are clean and then well oiled afterward. That is really the goal. I mean, firearms are tools. At the end of the day, it's not like it needs to be spotless unless you really want to make it spotless to store it for long-term storage or something like that. But I used to be real meticulous about cleaning every little thing, and then after a while, shooting so much is just kind of just spot clean it as best you can, get into every groove you can, enough where there's nothing in the important parts that I'm going to show you what to oil afterwards. So a lot of like the rails, a lot of the contact points, all that has to be really clean before you put it back together with a fresh couple of drops of oil on there. All right, so this is pretty much done. You can keep going, you can clean up where you want, but that looks pretty good to me. So now some of the dirtiest parts are actually the barrel right here. So let's go ahead and get a little bit more oil on this, still a little bit more life on it. And what I do is actually I just put my fingernail in right like so, and then for the guide rod assembly, actually I spin it in my finger like so. And what that does is get whatever kind of grit is on there right there using my fingernail. So that works really well. Typically these guide rod assemblies are not that dirty, but it's good to get down there and try to hit with the guide rod it is itself to make sure that's clean as well. Looks pretty good. Get a fresh patch. And now I'm going to go ahead and squirt the barrel just a little bit, because this one tends to take a little bit more cleaning. There you go. And there are some little cracks and crevices. You can probably use that tipped and pick for on here. This cleans up real nice. Again, high quality components here. Get your little tipped in pick. Get the little ledge under here. The little ledge in there too. You can see that kind of slot there. Again, that's perfect for this little pick here. Just get behind there, see if there's anything stuck back there. Yeah, just a little bit. And grab one more patch. Some of the dirtiest spots of that feed ramp's right there. Alright, so what I like to do now is I'll go ahead and run an oiled up patch through the barrel. You always want to go back to front, same way the round is going when running anything through the barrel. But I'll run one through, just kind of see what we're dealing with. Run it through again. This tends to save patches down the road and time, really, because the next step is going to be grab your brush like so. Alright, and then I go ahead and spread a little bit of oil on there and just run her through. And again, that handle is going to spin, and all you do is take it off, put it back on, run her through again. Nice and slow. I like short barrels because they're short, quick, easy to work with. So now the one thing that I kind of do a little more unique, I think, for cleaning, but I think it really does help, if I can get this thing to screw on there, is I take a fresh patch and actually I wrap it around and I spray it down a little bit with some oil and I run that through over the brass brush. Now it's tricky because it can't be too thick of a wrap because you don't want it to get stuck in there, it won't be able to pull through or push through. But you can see what it does, and it works really well for cleaning out the rifling. Now you can actually use that on both sides, so you can go ahead and flip it over. Use it again on the other side. Get a fresh patch. Wrap her around, spray her down, and that oil is going to kind of circulate with that rifling, and you get the whole sides all covered and cleaned up. And you can see it's almost there. It's really, all you get is that kind of green hue from that CLP, so it's not that much left to do on the barrel here. Probably do one more on this side here. Yeah, I think I'm good. You can go as many as you want, up to you. If you want to come out with a fully clean patch, that is totally up to you. What you could do is you can take your pull through now. And how this works is it goes on the end, put a patch like that, put a little on each end like so, and then you just push through. And with a pull through you probably could go back and forth, but just to be on the safe side, push through it, slowly spins still, following the rifling, and that just gets like a nice light coat of oil after you clean it up, so that's good too. Alright, last piece here of the puzzle is your frame, and you guessed it, we're probably going to go ahead, get a patch here, spray a little bit of oil on there. Alright, go with your hands first to kind of go through some of the parts. Clean up best you can. Again, this is actually in really good condition. It's not too bad, but still pretty dirty. A lot of the parts right here get really dirty because that is right where the feed ramp is up there. So when it's together, so you want to make sure all this gets clean because you can see it gets real gunky down there. You can use your nylon brush if you want for this, or you can just spread a little and then find your little pick here and go in there. Just be light where you're scrubbing because you don't want to mess up any of the springs or anything in the trigger mechanism, but this little pick allows you to kind of get into those crevices, get down in there. You can even go down where the magazine well is, Get in there like so. So these picks are really, really useful. The rails here. See all that stuff here that you couldn't even see earlier. It's all in there. Again, down here to be careful and mindful of some of the more delicate springs. Don't want to jam them up. Still a little bit of life on this patch here. Maybe one more and I think we'll get her back together and oiled up and get her back together. Yeah, it's not too bad. Magwell is good to hit just because those magazines you end up dropping in the dirt all the time. All that dirt goes right in here. So it's good to keep it clean. If there's any particles in there. Quick scrub. Yeah, that looks good enough. All right, cool. All right, so probably keep this for later too, if you wanted to. Probably use this if you want, just to, yeah, I'll do one more just to use up this patch. This already has oil on it anyways. Very shiny little components here. Look at that, glistening. There's that spring we talked about in that full review that kept or popped off that time. See that? I don't know why it did it, but you can see how it actuates. So if you haven't seen that full review yet, well, there you go. That's one of the things I had that was a problem, was that spring popped off the ledge, causing an issue there where I couldn't really use the slide release very well. It would still, the firearm functioned, but reloads were kind of tricky. You can see back here, there is some dirt behind the trigger. You know, it's probably not necessary to clean back there, but honestly, the trigger is obviously a very important part. So, get in there, clean it the best you can. All right, so now that that is done, I like these little droppers here, all right, because you can go ahead and just open them up like so, and then there are key parts to oil when you're putting this back together. You don't need to use a lot of oil, okay? You don't need to soak this thing and bathe it in oil. What you can do is like the rail, so put a little drop right here, a little drop right here, and as you use the firearm, you're gonna notice some wear spots. Those wear spots, that's where the oil goes. Pull it right here, okay, that right here. All right, and then on the barrel, typically around the front, you see a little bit of wearing right there, a little bit right here, and a little bit right there. Easy, all right. Slide, again, a little bit of wear right there. A little bit in the rails. You don't really need it because you got it on the other little pieces, but the rails are important. And then I like to put some just up top here sometimes, just because that wears quite a bit where that barrel is, and that was that wear on the top of the barrel was too. So now you're all oiled up, clean. Go ahead, drop your barrel in. This little flat piece here goes towards the front. Thin spring goes towards the back. It compresses like that. So you can go ahead and put her on that ledge. Make sure she's fully seated and nice and straight. Now putting her back together, all you're gonna have to do now is again find this little notch here. All right, because remember it only went about 1 inch forward. Line her up like that. That's it. So you can actually go ahead and take some oil that's on your hands and typically just kind of wipe it down. You can buy very expensive like silicone cloths and things like that just to shine things up. But a lot of times just kind of wiping some excess oil on your hands really cleans up the firearm. Then you can kind of go through with a patch at the end and just kind of clean it up a little bit. A little bit of oil on the outside of the frame isn't going to hurt it. In fact, it's probably going to help with storage. But a little patch on the end here will help distribute it a little bit better. You don't have globs of oil anywhere, and then you can clean up your... Sorry, camera died on me there. But yeah, I was saying just clean up the serrations a little bit here with your patch. You can clean up the back a little bit because a lot of times the grime from the inside of the slide that's kind of running back when you fire each round kind of deposits back here quite a bit. You can kind of see there's some black that I just cleaned up. and usually just right around there in those holes. So just some of the exterior parts that you might not have got really well earlier, just kind of wipe them down. And that's it. Quick function test here. And that is it for this cleaning. So hope you guys like this review and this kind of cleaning of this Canik. Again, the SC works really well for this, as well as any of the Elite series will work just fine. The slides are the same thing. If you saw the full review, you know they're very similar almost to the T on how they're designed from the other Elites out there. So again, if you have any questions, hit them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. And of course, if you're interested at all, go ahead on over to our Facebook page, like us there for all the latest and greatest deals on the internet. And also you can check out our Instagram, follow us there as well. And I'll see you guys in the next review.